Good afternoon, everyone. How is everyone doing today on Wonderful Wednesday? And again, it is another great day to be alive and another gift, not only to receive, but to give as well. And yes, you know what that means. It is time for Conversations for Humanity, and it's that time again to be able to have our special guests from throughout the world and literally through the Bringing Humanity Together community to come up and share their story of not only trials and tribulations, but really of who they are and everything. And I got a great and dear friend that's near and dear to my heart and near and dear to our heart here at Bring Humanity Together. Her name is Anke, and she has been phenomenal in what she is doing with us here at Bring Humanity Together. And not only is she a great person to know what she has done in her life, but she's a great person too as well. That really she sees the bigger picture of what we can do to help humanity rise and become a part of something bigger than of ourselves. So without no further ado, it's time for me to introduce you to Anke. Anke, how are you doing today on Wonderful
Hi,
Wednesday?
I'm good. I am just quickly decompressing.
There you go.
I just put the 2-year-old in bed at speed. We shall see if it works. Let me just put it that way. I'm going to find a place to sit so that I can concentrate and we can chit chat.
Nice, nice. And people already are joining in. Sharon, Margaret, and Joel, we would love for you to join into the call. I'll be posting the link here in just a minute. We would love to get on the call with you guys. But Anke, if you could please introduce yourself and kind of what led you to bring humanity together.
Absolutely. Okay, well, my name is Anke. You can see on my little name tag there, it says Anke Kan, which in Afrikaans is directly translated to Anke Kan, which I know it's a super stretch. But it's something that happened within, like, which is part of my growing up, something I took ownership of, because I have always been the person that could, when nobody else can anymore, I can, and I do, and I will. So yeah, I've got my fingers in a lot of pies. I've been networking and learning on LinkedIn. The past few months I've been a little quiet because, when you go into LinkedIn and you go to learn, you can elevate yourself so fast. And then there's a time of integration, right? Where all of the things that we've learned kind of has to take root within us. And so that's the season that I'm in right now, working behind the scenes. And I'm a public speaker. I was in full-time ministry for 8.5 years. And I did everything from drama workshops in prisons and nursing facilities, schools, and corporate workshops, all kinds of crazy things, all over South Africa, or Southern Africa, and the United States as a whole. So I've traveled all over the place. I love business. I love people. And I consider myself a very spiritual individual, not religious whatsoever, but very spiritual, very connected to the earth. And so I believe that this new world, this new place that we're going to internally is very different from what it has been. And so I do many things. So for me to tell you about what I do would take probably about the entire hour and a half. You know how I can talk, Chris. And I would love to share, specifics, but I think as you and I chat, the specifics that is relevant will pop up. And as far as bringing humanity together goes, honestly, BHT has been an anchor for me. I was thinking about this yesterday in preparation for this conversation. And at the beginning of last summer, I was very much adrift. Very much. I knew that I had to become something other than what I am in order to do the things that I wanted to do and be the person I wanted to be, but I didn't really know how. And you and I have had, specifically around the topic of money, a lot of intense conversations about this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons that I love you as a human, is because Chris there's no holds barred. And the process of just being a part of this community and being treasured for the value that I do bring as a human, even though a lot of that value was hidden behind a lot of unnecessary behavioral whatevers, as we all have. And so BHT has been for me, I want to say almost like when you were in college and you're part of an alma mater. Is that right, English?
Yes.
Yay, Sharon, that makes me happy. I love it when my words resonate. There's a few things that make me happier. But I don't know. Sharon, you distracted me. I don't even know where I am. BHT. So it's almost like being a part of that kind of connection and depth. So I have much that I want to bring and that I will bring. And as we all kind of come to the end of these seasons of integration and internal, I saw a picture, Spirit gave me a picture. I was thinking about it this morning while I was hanging out with my kids. And because I've been thinking a lot about how much of the things that are happening outside of us are the answers to our prayers, asking us to shake us loose from the things stuck inside of us, which I believe is true. And I was kind of just ruminating on that with my trees. And I got the image of, those old speakers, those bass speakers, where if you put water or whatever on it, like it bounces. And I got the image of myself walking into one of these, but it's massive. Like it is a humongous speaker, almost like a crater in the earth, and walking into the middle of it and going to stand in the middle of it and like holding myself, like literally holding my arms on myself like this and taking a deep breath and nodding my head, and this thing starting to shake and shake and shake and shake. And I hold my hand up and it stops. And then when I'm ready, I put my hand back down, hold myself again, nod my head, and the shaking begins again. And that is what the past year has been.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt Spirit say, when we choose to stand in the fire, the excess is burned away so much faster than when we fight every step of the way. So I'm a public speaker. I know at some point I'm going to do coaching. I can feel it pulling on me, but I didn't want to do it the way that it's being done by so many. And so I've kind of just held back and watched and waited. I'm an author. I'm busy writing a book called Confessions of a Serial People Pleaser.
Nice.
I have much experience and data to share. And I mean, that's just some of it. There's so much. There's so many beautiful things growing around me. So, yeah, that's me. And that's my connection with BHT. And there's much more to come with BHT. I'm excited.
And yes. And you even got on a call with me and a great friend of yours, if I remember correctly, Lila. And you told her,
Leah,
hey, this is the one person in community that don't even talk about money. Why is that?
Well, because it's not necessary.
Yeah.
Because it's simply another tool. Because it's not something to obsess over. It is something that they've used to distract us.
Yeah.
That was incredibly evident to me. Oh my goodness, the other day I was on, so I do a lot of my work on TikTok. I came to LinkedIn. LinkedIn was my college, and TikTok became kind of like my recess, except I realized how much there is there, just the depth that's there. And so I kind of started just learning how the system works, which now feels like a waste of time because yeehaw, it's all stopping in 12 months. But a lot can be done in 12 months. A lot can be done in 12 months. And so I was working with one of my clients, and we were working with a bot with battling and whatever. And one of his supporters came in and just threw him a massive gift, which means that the whole screen lights up and there's there's lights here, and it's an event, right? And it hit me like a 2x4 right in the forehead. That is exactly what they've been doing with money. It's literally just ooh, look at this here. You can spend these points that you gathered here, you can spend here. That's all it is. So anyway, that is it's exciting because in BHT was for me the seeds of that. This tree of understanding really did take root there because I saw it in action.
Right.
Because I saw how people connect with their hearts first, and then their businesses also line up, and then their needs line up, and then, oh my goodness, this person's good at this person's good at that, this person's good at this. When we all come together, we are unstoppable.
Yeah.
And when I go,
right.
My family and friends get nervous.
That is something awesome. But the big takeaway for me, though, with you in getting to know you, Anke, is you are very in an ebb and flow kind of thing. You're not literally so fixated on that one thing and it has to be only that one thing. You literally, in every conversation that me and you have had, it's been ever flowing, ever growing, and you just enjoyed the ride. And I truly believe you've literally in your life, you've now come to realize it's about the journey, not the destination.
I've learned to savor. I've learned how to savor the different parts of this journey for what they are. Because we do not need to savor our pain as if it is ecstasis. We do not need to savor our grief as if it is love. I mean, it is love, but you know what I mean. We don't have to make it pretty and put a cherry on it. We can experience the brutality of the anguish of the pain, but we only need to experience it for 90 seconds. That's it. That's all our body needs in order to process it all the way through, to get the information that you need and to feel the depth that you need to feel to launch to where you need to go. You need 90 seconds. And when we take more than that, and I'm not talking about if you don't do 90 seconds, then you're doing this to yourself, because obviously it's a practice and obviously it takes time. And like anything, the more you do it, the better you get at it. But when we do more than that 90 seconds of flush and process, I'm not going to say we, because I do not think that is wise, because we're all so very different. But when I continued forward, I was re-traumatizing myself, because I was creating these stories in trying to figure out why things were happened in my past, why I showed up certain ways, why others showed up certain ways, because I'm an overthinker and it's just part of the way that I grew up. And then I realized that I can step out of all of it. So I completely derailed myself with my train of thought there. So apologies if that last sentence didn't make sense. It didn't make sense to me either.
Great. I loved it. No worries there. And Sharon has really added on. And Sharon, I would love you to join the call, please. And Margaret and Joel too as well.
Always, please.
Go ahead.
No, please, always, anyone, always welcome. This is my favorite part of this, is that we bring people up and give you a chance, because, and I'm living proof. When I joined my first BHT call, my anxiety and depression was so bad that I was laying inside this house on a green chair covered up in a weighted blanket. And I wasn't planning to speak. I was just trying to clap hands and interact, because when you feel like you have nothing to give, you have so much to give, especially for these kinds of things. You know, when you show up, and I can't see any comments, so please forgive me if I'm being rude. I see sometimes if they pop up, but it's quick.
Yeah. Yeah. And Sharon,
how do you join? Yeah, you talk to us. That's all.
Easy, Sharon. There's always been a comment to you, and I'll share it with you again. And I love what you said just a second ago, Sharon, about get feedback and move forward. Absolutely. But like I said, Sharon, here is the link, and I'm going to send it to you right now in the comments on LinkedIn. So please just click that link and use Google Chrome to be able to do it, because sometimes Apple Safari doesn't really work, and I don't know why. But if you could do that, that'd be great. So Sharon, here is the link right here. I just sent it to you.
And
So
just
please,
so that you know, just for anybody, any other very sensitive energy beings out there, I don't know how to phrase it. I am an empath. I am incredibly sensitive to the energy around me. And I used to beat myself up over it, which is really, really silly, but I did. And so for me, approaching BHT was incredibly overwhelming because my brain takes in information, and if you give me a big picture, I'm going to take in the entire big picture. And so for me personally, it seemed so big, right? But I need you to understand it is big. Oh, it's big. We want to go big. We want to touch every single life. We want to touch every single life, and we want everybody to know you matter, right? It's big.
Yep.
But in order for things, and this is something that Keith taught me, in order for things to excel when they're big, they have to work when they're small too. So there are many, many, many things that you can do to participate in the things that we are building on a super, like I'm talking, you can be curled up in your green chair under your weighted blanket with your bottle of water, not able to communicate to another soul because your anxiety is so high, and you can still be making a difference. I promise you. So I say this with so much intensity because I speak to myself. For so many years, I allowed myself to be convinced that I was helpless, that I was, it's a beautiful word and it's kind of floating around and not quite reachable, but irrelevant. Yeah. That I was irrelevant. In the grand scheme of things, I was irrelevant. And we're not even going to get into the why. There's an entire masterclass planned on it. But the moment that I understood that not only am I relevant, but when I go inside myself and I process my pain so that my owie bits are little, so that when somebody's pokey bits come at my owie bits, there's none of this ego drama BS that happens when as humans do that. It's like, owie, didn't mean to hurt you. I'm going to give you space. You come talk to me when you're ready, because that's how grown-ups communicate.
Absolutely.
And so as these things happen, and I recognized it, if I do that one thing, and honestly, it's not a little thing, because obviously going internal is new for many of us. It was for me. And so it can be a little scary, but it doesn't have to be, because here's the thing. And I just actually spoke in Avant-Garde about this. So if you guys want to hear me talk about this specific topic, go to Jen Lin. I just spoke in her What's It yesterday. It was recorded, and we talked about inner child play being one of the best therapies. Like, it doesn't have to be. We've been through the season where everybody's talking dark night of the soul, dark night of the soul. And even though that is incredibly true and important, many of the things that I have gone running to the dark night of the soul for could have been relieved and released and given back in a way and transmuted into love if I had just gone and played with my children for 20 minutes and stopped overthinking. Mm-hmm. Because we miss out on the fun and the beauty and the passion and the awesomeness that is our actual life. And I said this in a TikTok yesterday, because the only thing we're looking at is the poop on our shoe. So how are you supposed to see the rainbow if the only thing you're doing is looking at the poop on your shoe? So it's about perspective. And that's, I think, the biggest lesson that I have taken away from last summer to this summer is that perspective is 9/10 of the law. And if you can change 9/10 of your reality simply by changing the way that you think, why are we not doing it more? And that's what I asked myself. And that's why I'm here. Yeehaw.
Awesome, awesome. And Sharon, I just sent that link to you yet again and everything, so no worries there. But Anke, it is that time for you to come share your story with us here at Conversations for Humanity. So the mic is yours, please. Come share your story, please.
I thought that's what I was doing.
Well, keep going. Don't stop.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess normally I'm the supporting staff in these kinds of conversations. I'm not normally on stage. So I never know exactly where to begin because my story is crazy. So I'm just going to give you the quick rundown cliff notes so that you have a bit of a, I guess, I don't know. Stop me if it stops making sense. So I'm from South Africa. I was born in South Africa in 1986, which makes me 48. Yes, I'm old. No, I don't care. Not 48, 38, sorry. See, I care so little. But I joined, I was full-time in church, grew up very much religious. And I joined the circus, I mean, a ministry. And within the ministry, I traveled in South Africa for about 4.5 years. Hello, Sharon. And they invited me to come to the United States to come and lead a team here in 2009. Came over here, met my trauma bond. I met my ex-husband, got married, was in ministry for four more years here, retired from ministry 2013, started figuring out my life, got pregnant, gave up trying to figure out my life, got pregnant again, really gave up. Then things got really interesting for a few years there, then had a third baby and told my ex-husband, I'm all done. It's time for me to do this one on my own. And in November, so January of 2020, what is it, 24 now? So January 2023, I think. I have no concept of time. Time isn't real. The rules are made up and the points don't matter, whatever. I think January 2023 or 22, I don't know. But we separated. And from that moment on, I started healing because I believe that you cannot heal from what you're healing from while you're still in it. You can, it's just really, really hard. And me and my friends, because I am blessed with a support system that you would not believe, we've made it work. I have a whole network of single moms where if we have $5 extra, we message one another. Hey, I've got $5 extra. Would it help you? And that way we have survived. I am talking, put gas in our cars and food in our fridges, survived. But we've survived. You know, not only did we survive, but our kids had ice cream sometimes and adventures sometimes because we figured it out, because that's what a village is. So, but it's been really hard because the universe keeps throwing these adventures on my path because the things that are internal that need to be shaken out so that I can be the person that I need to be to do the things I've been called to do. That's quite the bass speaker, let me tell you. Like, it's like at this point. Like, I've got, what do they call it? I've got my metaphysical stretch marks have stretch marks. But we're here, and where is here? I can't tell you yet because everything is in that maelstrom of, okay, which way am I leaning, Spirit? Where am I going? Okay, today we're dealing with this. Sweet. My phone has not stopped ringing all day. And it's all my people checking in going, I'm sorry, I've been quiet. This is what I've been doing. And I'm like, I thought I was alone and I've not been alone. I thought that I was abandoned for 2 weeks. I thought I was abandoned. And meanwhile, my people have been working behind the scenes just like me. And when we come together, it's magic. And to me, that's what BHT is. That's it. Right? I bring my best to the table. It doesn't matter if my best is a anxiety level here, which if you know, you know, underneath a weighted blanket, on a couch because I can barely think, but where am I? Am I on Facebook complaining to other people about how difficult my life is? Am I on TikTok calling somebody out about goodness knows whatever is happening somewhere? What? No. I was on LinkedIn. And I also did the other things. Don't get me wrong. It was a process of moving my attention over. But when we pay, hi, Dr. New, when we pay attention to the things that we want to grow, the things that we want to grow. Not that I have any opinions on that at all.
We get more of what we focus on. And, I believe that our challenges, because I don't like to call them negative experiences, but our challenges are feedback. It just means pay attention and shift directions. It doesn't mean you have failed. It doesn't mean give up. It means take the hint.
Welcome, Diane.
Take the hint, and instead of going right, go left. If left doesn't work, then try the fork in the road and not the sharp left.
Well, and the more that you make me blush online, the more that you surrender, the more that I surrendered, my reframing is we're getting there, but the more that I surrendered to it, the more fun it became. I'm telling you, I'm sitting in the car yesterday and I'm driving. And I've been trying to find a specific road because I have the direction of a drunk rat. And my friend takes a specific road and I've been trying to find it. And so my GPS said, this is a possible option. And I go, I wonder if I kid you not, the option disappears from my phone and a truck pulls in next to me. And I'm like, okay, never mind.
I always say I'm one of the reasons that GPS was invented. I could get lost in my own backyard.
Same.
So
bad.
But I also just want to say, we're greater than our circumstances. And I really do believe that our circumstances are put before us for a reason. And that life's all about choices. And I'm not saying that I don't have my moments, because believe me, I do. People ask me, Sharon, how do you stay positive all the time? How are you so this and that? Okay, well, here's transparency for you 101 when it comes from Sharon Byrne. Sharon has her moments of being in a very dark place. However, this is a rule that I've given myself since the time that I'm very young. I give myself up to 24 hours. I say up to 24 hours because I'm not going to go beyond. However, if I use an hour, if I use 10 minutes, and after that time, I then say, what parts of this can I control? What can I do about it? And then I go into action mode. Because we are greater than our circumstances. And if we create a vision for ourselves, right? Because we have our circumstances, and then we have this vision of the life that we want to live, right? We all have these dreams and visions. So if we create that vision and we pull into the energy of that vision, then that's going to affect our thoughts, which are going to affect our action steps, which are going to lead us. The action steps we're going to take are more towards the vision than they are to our circumstances. And please understand that I am not saying that we have to ignore our circumstances or push them off to the side. Our circumstances are facts that need to be dealt with, but they do not have to define us.
You're absolutely right, Sharon.
Absolutely. 100%.
Absolutely. Well, because it all comes back down to the bottom, right? It all starts internal. Yep. And if we cannot, give me 1 second. So sorry. What's wrong, my love? Your leg hurts? Okay. I need to finish this conversation, but can you go lay down under the warmth, please? And then I'll be with you. I told you can have all the ice pops you want if you just give me this hour, please. Get a blankie, make sure you're covered. Go get comfy. If you're warm, your leg will not hurt as much, baby. You're busy growing. That's why. I will be there shortly. Close the door.
Aw, how sweet.
I will come and look at the red dot on your leg, I promise.
I'm serving humanity right now, so I'm going to just speak real quick on that. So, beautiful Anke. Love to hear you. You and I are sisters, like Michelle. And Sharon, beautiful. Always love to hear you too. Hi, Diane, Dr. New, and the amazing gentleman, Chris Berryman. So I just want to say that I resonate with everything you say. Yeah, and Sharon, you too. I mean, circumstances will not define us. They will not, do anything like that. They're there to be there, right? But we are overcomers spiritually. That's how I am there too. And manifestation, I believe in that strength. I believe, everything's already set in the universe. It's already set. It's, going to happen the way it's going to happen. We're the ones who choose to decide how we're going to be when it happens, right? And we choose to decide how we're going to act and react. Are we going to be reactive or proactive, I get to ask the same question as you, Sharon. How do you stay positive all the time? How do you this and that? How do you, I have my moments too, my daughter and I, sometimes we bump heads, sometimes we have to talk about it, but that's not going to take away from the light that I have within, we're all light beings. And Anka, I was going to tell you that I don't think you have to reframe all the time, because here at BHT, I think we're one. We're
I like
one.
that.
So when you
I
say,
like that.
we should this and that, you should this and
So
that, yeah, I resonate with that. So
And
push the 30 seconds 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Good job.
I agree.
but
I
yeah,
think
but
that
I wanted to give you all my love. I'm going to be listening in, but I have to serve humanity because that's what I do. I have to, I'm in uniform. But
I
yeah,
love it. I
just
love
want
it.
to
Thank
send
you for
everyone my
popping in.
love.
And thank you for taking the time to say those words, Maggie, because really, really, I mean, we know this, right? We all know how powerful
100%.
those words of acknowledgement is to one
Yeah.
another, because most of us have been doing this work somewhere in the back of somebody, something for who
Yes.
knows how long.
Yeah.
And so it looks like we're all of a sudden just pulling all this out, but this is 10 years
Yeah.
old, 20 years
Yeah.
old,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
so just thank you for saying those words,
Of
because
course. Yes.
I believe those words are important.
thank you
Yes,
for
and
shining your
they're
beautiful
true,
light.
and humanity will all know it too
Yep.
soon. I love
Keep
you
shining your
guys.
beautiful light, Maggie.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll be in here listening.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much, Margaret. Greatly appreciate you. But Sharon, I'm just so humbled and honored that you are here with us today, and I can't wait to have a meet and greet call with you very soon. But
Well,
I
thank you
love
for
what you
having me.
shared there earlier in the conversation, and it was really, really poignant. And I'm going to bring it back up because uh, it really just hit home for me. Because you stated in just a second when you said that we are better together. Absolutely 110%. So I got to ask you, Sharon, if we are better together, do we do it because we have to be better together or because we want to be better together?
I think for those of us that are in this work, to be honest, we do it because we recognize and we want to be better together. I think there are people out there that we can impact that don't necessarily quite get that, Chris. And I'm not saying they're doing it intentionally or they're doing it with evil or malice intent, because I don't believe that at all. But I do believe that there's many schools of thought, and pretty much in my mind it goes to like two categories, and it's the people that think they have to be, for lack of a better way to say this, and I don't mean this offensively, but it's the people that feel that they have to be cutthroat to get ahead and to make a impact and to make a legacy for themselves and to have success. And then there's the other people, like I think that are in your community and other communities that I'm associated with, who get that we're better together because together we can expand our reach and have a greater impact. But along with that also is we have the opportunities to continue to learn from each other, because there's not one person that I have met in my recent connections that doesn't understand that learning is a lifelong process, and we are excited to learn from each other. We're not, at least from the people that I've met, because this is very important to me. We are who we surround ourselves with.
Mm-hmm.
So I have made a conscious effort in the last few years to be very conscious of who I'm letting in my inner circle. And even for the people that I have to deal with, like certain family members and certain colleagues who aren't necessarily the best influence or have the best kind of energy, I'm careful with how I interact with them so that their energy doesn't infiltrate my energy and my train of thought. I'm not going to say that it's perfect. And yes, I'm human and it does, but I become aware of it.
When it's an experience, like
Yeah.
it's not, I mean, when you think of the human experience as, let's think of it as an orchestra, right? The orchestras that are, I mean, I love classical music, so I might be talking to a very niche audience here, but the orchestras that play the music exactly precisely tuned in to the max can still be not one of my favorite orchestras.
Right.
And then an orchestra that you can tell that they need more practice, but there's something there. That's where I get excited. And when I was young, I tried to explain that to people, and the looks that I got, I could probably like cover my entire wall with the facial expressions of responses that I got, because I mean, I sounded crazy. Now, of course, I understand. I wanted to actually bring in the better together because, yes, I agree. We are better together when we as individuals take the time to become better within ourselves.
Absolutely.
When we look in the mirror and we face our own battles and we continue to do that, we find within ourselves resilience. We find within ourselves fire. And then when your fire comes up against my fire, we do not burn one another and cause damage. We join together and we do so much more good.
Yeah. Yep. I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't.
And when we give one another the grace to do that, right? And I say these things, please know I say these things not from a place of hi ho, I've done this all you know. Like, not at all. Like, I'm a dork. I am a theater geek, mother of 5, dork face.
You're beautiful.
Thank you. But it's, we can play through this thing and we can but give yourself some grace and then recognize that any work that I do within myself, and that means and if a shadow journal works for you, that's great. I have one. I'm doing my best because it's the right thing to do. But
it's not necessarily the right thing to do.
No, not because no, you're misunderstanding me. There's a lot more nuance to that statement.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm happy to share, but it's like not on this live.
No, I get you.
So following the steps as they're placed before me and trusting that there's a reason for them and that everything works together for me, for good, for this. I'm not just saying this. I'm breathing and living it. And just like Sharon said, that does not mean that there are not times where I do not get up in the morning and I say, yeah, you know what? No, that was me last Sunday. I was like, no, I'm going to work on my yard and I'm going to sleep in my bed. And that is all I'm doing, because my emotional capacity at that point was not stable enough to interact with humans. So.
But I applaud you for recognizing that, because another thing that's really important to me is to expand on what you said a little bit before. And I don't remember your exact words, but I know this point came up in my head.
Please. Have fun with yours. I like hearing other people's words of my words. It's so much fun.
So, thank you. So, I think that we have to remember that we're perfectly imperfect and that's okay. When we strive for perfection, there is no such thing. And we're setting ourselves up for failure, and we're setting others up to have expectations of us that will never exist. And if people have those expectations of us, we don't have to buy. I know this was a hard lesson for me to learn.
Same.
But we don't have to buy into other people's expectations of us, because here's the thing. It all starts with us in a sense. And one of the things that I was said before in the comments to one of the things that you were saying is that I know for me, and I think for many humans, we take over where other people left off. And what I mean by that is we grow up hearing certain things. And I'm not saying that our parents meant to harm us. It's just a generational thing. Okay. So let me put that out there.
The generation gives to the generation to come the best that they have. And sometimes it's a little and sometimes it's a lot. But I agree with you. My mom and dad gave me many gifts. Unfortunately, some of them were a little bit wrapped up in barbed wire, but that's okay. We can remove the barbed wire.
Yep, we can. And I think that, but we as humans, we don't need, I was classic at this. And it took me a long time, and I'm still a work in progress around this, but I took over where other people left off. And I can walk people through how not to do this and how to talk positively about themselves. But I am my worst critic, like most of us are, but I'm brutal to myself sometimes. I'm not as brutal to myself now as I was. I've learned to give myself kindness and grace, but it was amazing to me just how much I was taking over where other people left off. I mean, I was born with a physical disability, so I was bullied all throughout middle school and high school. And I had just, that's too deep to go into here today. But my point is that I just didn't realize how much I was taking over where, that my own self-talk was really.
Oh, you mean attaching to other people's storylines? You just grabbed onto it and kind of ran with it and just wrapped yourself in it more. Same. Oh, same, sister. Yeah. Hashtag same.
I would just be like, oh, well, these people believe this about me and these people are saying this about me. So I'm just going to continue saying the same shit.
This must be true and this must be true. Oh, yeah. Yes, ma'am. And here's the thing. We know ourselves so well that, like, I don't know if anybody's a Harry Potter fan, but this is the only thing that made sense to me. It was in my own self. This was inner child therapy that I was doing. And this is literally the only thing that went, okay, I understand that. But like Voldemort broke himself into different pieces, like the amount of Horcruxes that there were over the past 2 years, I have gone through the process of literally experiencing what that feels like when it happens to a human soul as the pieces are coming back together. And let me tell you, some of the experiences were intense. Because the amount of damage that we do when we do that tying up, and I thought it was just me, and because somebody said to me that one time that if there's if there's issues going on in your life and it's the same issue over and over, you're the common denominator, which means you're the problem, which means you need to fix you. And because of the way that it was delivered to me, because I was young, the way it was delivered to me, all I saw was whips, like that flagellation.
Can I just tell you that one of the quotes that I constantly heard growing up was, well, it must be you because you're the one having this experience. And so much into my adulthood, anytime I experience something, especially the negative, I'd be like, well, it has to be me. It took me a long time to separate from that and say, no, maybe sometimes it is.
I'm still there. I'm still wading through that.
I'm a work in progress. I'm a lot better than I was, but I'm still a work in progress. And I believe that some of these things I will be a work in progress on till the day I die. Because
that's part of what brings the nuance of the duality. Because if you weren't, if I weren't, if we didn't have these things that we're carrying, then we would be inaccessible to those who still do.
Exactly. And I've learned, that I only have to be one step or two steps ahead of the people that I'm helping. I don't need to be light years ahead of somebody to be a benefit to them.
Imposter syndrome. That solves imposter syndrome real quick. Sorry, it's freezing outside and I thought it was warm. And
I'm just stepping over here to let my dog outside. Sorry. But she's like having a second child.
I told you, Chris, this is what happens when you get me, when my kids are here, you get whatever you get. I told him. I warned him at the beginning.
Oh,
I
trust me, as a parent of a 19-year-old, I mean, he's older, but 19-year-old, and having a 4-legged child, you get what you get when you get it. You can't always, it's very unpredictable.
Okay, wait. I can tell you this. This is a fun thing that I'm doing. On Pinterest, I need a nap. TikTok, one of the things that you can do when you have subscribers is you have subscriber-only lives. And I'm in the process of seeing if I can create like a boardroom. So that
Nice.
people who are business people who don't really think, oh, sorry, excuse me one second, who don't have time for recess and who think that they're too busy. And I'm talking to all of you because all of you need recess, says the teacher's daughter. But if you like, I think that if we can show people not just the business side, because I mean, I network the best on LinkedIn, on TikTok. It's so much fun. But I think if we show people, listen, there's intelligence and depth here.
Yep.
Like, I know that you just see the fluff, but that's because all of us dork faces need somewhere to blow off steam.
But you know, the funny part is we all need to blow off steam.
I know.
It's just us dork faces are more comfortable with doing it.
I
And
think as dork faces were told for so long that we weren't allowed to, that when we got any sense of freedom, we were like, well, now I'm gonna.
well, I also think, yeah, but I also think that culturally, we're taught that
Volume. Think leave each other alone.
is self-care. It's okay. Self-care is selfish, and self-care is not selfish. It is an absolute necessity, because think about it this way. If you're driving a car, right? Will a car run on an almost dead battery or on a dead battery? No. So if you're the driver of your life or of your family or of your business or of your department, I don't care what your role is, how can you do that effectively if you don't take time to recharge your battery?
Or if you don't know how.
Exactly.
Like, that's the part that I get like all kinds of like worked up about, because I wrote something that I'm happy to share with you, but I'm not going to mention on screen, that made me really think about the things that we think we're being taught, but we weren't being taught it. And I'm going to use a very specific one. For instance, humility.
Mhm.
What does that mean to you?
To me, humility means being who you are and not feeling like you are better than or greater than somebody else. And also, on the flip side of that, humility also has to do with recognizing and owning that you are imperfect and that you can improve, and just, to be humble, to be, and to never forget from where you came. I think all of that, equals humility plus some. It's very hard to, for me, it's hard to put articulate everything that humility means to me, but those are the key things that it means to me.
And I'll even take it one step further too, as well, with that, Sharon. I'm glad you kind of mentioned that. And it goes right back to what I've been saying for a lot of years now. And it's really the question that I really ask myself, and I truly believe it's the most pivotal one to ask. I truly believe the better question to ask, not only of ourselves, but to each other, is not what we do. It's asking, who are we?
Mm-hmm.
And if we are going to be those humble people in this world, maybe we ask ourselves, how can I be humble? How can I be of service? How can I not be the smartest guy in the room? Because if you're the smartest guy, you're in the wrong room.
Yep. If you're the smartest guy, you're basically saying you have nothing to learn, and you've reached your apex. And for me, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I want to be I want to be somewhere middle ground because there's always something that I can learn. And I fully believe that.
Yeah, and you said it best though, Sharon. We are always in a constant state of learning. We never plateau, even though we think that we do. We don't. We always have something to learn. And see, and that's why I created Bringing Humanity Together in the way that I have, because I know Anke is going to do something far better than me. Keith is going to do something far better than me. Jay is going to do something better than me. Michelle or Margaret or Peter or whoever it is. I just know that people are going to know more what they know far better than me. But you know what I can do? I can go to them and say, I want to know what you know. And everything like that. And the power of the ask is very powerful when you put it in that kind of context. Because if you can really, and it comes down to 3 words, and John C. Maxwell says it in a lot of his teachings, and I truly believe it. It's about listen, learn, and lead. If we can all become better listeners, then we can all become better learners, and then we can all become better leaders in and of itself. And Diane, I love what you just shared there. Humility to me involves recognizing and accepting one's limitations and weaknesses and being open to learning and growth without feeling superior to others. Diane, that's why I would love
Absolutely, Diane.
Very well summarized. I need you to just kind of hang around with me a little bit every day and just kind of help me learn how to summarize myself, please.
Very well said, Diane. Very well said.
And that's why Diane wants to be all in here at Bring Humanity Together.
He's picking up the vibe. See, and that's something that I am so incredibly passionate about, is if you continue to live your truth, if you walk forward in who you are, if you continue to pour into the things that matter to you, and you put in the energy and the effort, however that is, and that doesn't mean money. I didn't say money. I said energy and effort. There's a difference, I promise you. Then you will find the people that are the same, that feel the same, that see the same, and they're not going to be colored the same necessarily. Their bits are going to look different. And I'm going to say it, but when you walk closer to them, your soul will begin to sing the song.
Yep.
And if you are brave enough to open your mouth and say, hi, tell me a little bit about you, or, hey, I like your sweater, where'd you get it, or whatever, be brave enough to open your mouth, then you'll begin to sing the song to them.
Yep.
And then they'll sing it back to you. And then it'll echo louder. And then it becomes more and more and more and more. And I know I'm a storyteller, I'm an actress, I speak in pictures, but I wanted to say real quick, the reason why I asked about humility specifically. And Diane, I love your words. But having said that perspective is 9/10 of perspective is 9/10 of reality, I have no interest in being humble if the definition is the one that I was taught. Because the definition that I will be of humble is seeing myself directly in relationship to that which is greater than all. Because when I see myself in relationship to him, then when I walk closer and I'm not where I'm meant to be, do you know what my throat does? This.
Mm-hmm.
But only when I don't listen the first time, or the second time, or the 5th time, or the 10th time, because it's not painful at first. But if I don't listen, my anxiety, which is a tool that my frame needed in order to understand the depth of that where I had to go, it is a tool. I have anxiety, but it is a tool. So, it's the reason I asked is because I want just take a moment and take a step back. If something's overwhelming you, it means you're looking at it like this. And if you just a few times, as silly as that sounds, I know my mother told me anytime anything was wrong when I was a child, just take a few deep breaths and drink some water. And I thought that she was crazy, but she was right.
It centers you. It brings you back to the moment. Because what happens when we get overwhelmed and is we start to go down that rabbit hole of everything that could go wrong. But when you take a sip of water or you take a deep breath, you actually physiologically recenter your nervous system, and that automatically recenters you so that you can think more clearly. It doesn't mean that the situation has corrected itself and the issue is gone, but it does mean that you control the situation, and the situation doesn't control you.
And when you're able to look at it from a different perspective, you often find solutions that you never even thought of. Or you think, oh my goodness, if let me contact this person. Or somebody calls you and says, hey, I just had to check up on you. How are you doing? And your internal self goes, and they're like, whoa, what do you need? And then like I had this experience today, and this person's like, well, that's not a problem. I can do that like tomorrow.
I also think that besides waiting for others to ask what we need, I have learned that we need to ask for what we need, because often people do want to help, but they have no idea how, and they don't know what to say. They don't know what to do. So one of the questions that I like to ask others is, how are you doing? And how can I, if whatever they tell me, if I'm feeling like they need something, I'll say, what is the best way for me to support you at this moment?
I do the same. I love that phrase. It works every time, because usually people think, if you just give me money, if I forgot money, if you just give me money, if you give me money, I'll be okay. If you just give me money. But if you can get them to just breathe and you're like, okay, within the next 24 hours, what do you need? Not what do you want, not what's going to solve your problem tomorrow. And I understand problems are real. Trust me, my life situation is not simple. I truly, truly do not speak from a place of privilege here. I really don't. Not in this. Other things, yes, but not in this. But when you approach it and you breathe and you realize, wait a minute, do you know what would really help me right now? If somebody bought me dinner for me and my children, that would truly help me right now, because I would feel like instead of 2-3 hours in the kitchen of trying to get the kitchen to a point where I can cook dinner, because I can't cook dinner in a clean kitchen, a dirty kitchen, and instead, here's a gift for you.
Yep.
And that is something that we can provide for each other with $2 in our bank account. Like, just sending some, I mean, we have gotten afraid of giving each other money. I don't know how or why, but that's an energy that I'm feeling, and I'm trying to unravel it, because it seems like there's this, if I give to you and I make the wrong decision, then I'm going to pay the price. Like if I shouldn't have given you money, if I shouldn't have, because you make your choices with your life with it. And I think for me, it is rooted within the church. Because I was pretty much taught that every decision I make could cost somebody their soul in salvation forever and ever. One small choice that was made by me, I'm sorry, that is number one, untrue. It is untrue. If God wants to do something and I fail, I'm sorry, we don't believe in the same God.
Well, I think it goes back to a couple of things you said earlier. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think
please.
I think you had said, we have a choice. We have lots of choices in life. Some things we don't get to choose, but we do have one very important choice no matter what we're experiencing. Are we going to be responsive, or are we going to be reactionary? And one of the best ways to help ourselves be more responsive versus reactionary is to take a step back, because human nature is our first response is going to be from an emotional place. We can't, as human beings, we can't help that. People
but
think
that's a good thing.
I'm not saying it's not.
I just want to make sure that we say, I know that you're not, but I can hear how somebody might hear that it is. This is a very, very, very good thing. Okay, continue.
Okay, no, it is okay. It is a good thing to be aware and connected to your emotions. I completely feel that we can't stifle our emotions. We shouldn't. We should be taught to feel them and deal with them and appreciate them for what they are, because our emotions, to me, the way I like to describe emotions are messages. So no matter what you're feeling, that feeling is trying to tell you something. And so it takes time to tap into what it's really trying to tell you, but it's powerful when you do it. So, but
feelings are like seasonings in your food.
Yep.
If you put in too much salt, it's not good. If you have too much, and I am, my friends, my family tease me, Anke's crying again. Anke's happy, she cries. Anke's angry, she cries. It's all a bit, and I love it about myself. I honestly do. I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't give it up for the world, because I know what lies at the end of each of those puddles. And to everybody around me, it might be too much. And I do respect that, because when my emotions get big, they get big. But I like it.
I can relate. And I try, my friends and family don't always, they don't deal well with the fact that I'm a crier for every emotion practically. But what I've learned is, for me, and I think for a lot of people, crying, when you can't stop yourself from crying, when the tears are just keep coming, that's because that's the message. Okay, I don't care what else is going on around you right now. You need to stop and pay attention, because if something is creating for me, if something's creating for me to cry like that and not be able to stop and kind of cry uncontrollably in a sense, that's something that I need to pay attention to, because that's an emotion or a situation that needs to be dealt with. And it's not a negative thing.
It's that speaker, right?
Yeah.
It's that speaker. You can start feeling the emotions start to build. And I mean, I'm saying this so that you can hear that me and her are saying the same thing. Sharon and I have never discussed this topic before.
Nope.
Never. We are not agreeing with each other.
Yep.
We are not agreeing with each other simply so that we look good for bringing humanity together. I don't do that anymore for anybody, as much as I love you, Chris. We are being real. And I want you on the other side of this call, excuse me, if you're like, oh my God, me too. Okay. I am at the end of a 2-year cycle where I have in-depth pushed to get to know myself, because I know where I'm heading. I know where my family is, and I know where we're going. And I had no choice. I truly didn't.
We're kindred spirits. I'm telling you, we're like.
I can't wait to chit chat. I can't. But I want you to hear that it doesn't have to be that way. My journey was incredibly intense because it needed to be. It's who I am. I am intense. But you can play through much healing. You can laugh through many tears, because the tears are coming out for a reason. And the places that you go to when you allow your emotions to be calm and at peace and real, I can't explain it to you. You have to feel it.
Yeah, definitely. It's not something that can be explained in words.
Because your inner child, I promise you will know. The first time that I experienced this, where my emotions were overwhelming, I was freaking out as my inner child was freaking out, but my adult was like, okay, just hold on. Just hold on.
Yeah, and I love the way this conversation is going and everything, because these calls are meant to do these kind of things that we can really connect, collaborate.
I forgot that you couldn't see me. I was miming stepping backwards. I'm sorry. The actress forgot that I was not on stage, but on a Zoom call. And the only thing that you can see is my shoulders. And so I was literally taking a step back, and then my brain went, wait a minute, they can't see your feet, dumb it. For your entertainment.
There you go. But like I said, that's why I love these kind of calls that we have, because they get us into a place and space where we can connect not only with our very humanity, which is interconnected by very design, it's already there, but how we can actually see one's place and space in the
amazing.
world.
What? You're amazing. Who's
way that we can be able, and again, I will go to this quote from Star Wars because it changed my life like you'll never know. It's about recognizing this too as well. It's like, embrace others for their differences, for that which makes you whole. And I truly believe not only we can embrace the things that are similar to one another, like our very humanity, we all want to be loved, we all want to be seen, we all want to be heard, we all want to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. But what makes us so unique by very design too as well is those things are unique to us and us alone. Not to Anke's brother or Anke's dog or Anke's next door neighbor. It's only to Anke. Same thing with you, Sharon. There are some things that are just meant for you and you alone. But when you share something deep and meaningful with people on that deep and meaningful human level, and you put it just out there, and that's why I truly believe in the power of invitation. Because when you invite people into your world by either sharing your story or just showing up in and of itself, and like Anke, people may not be seeing you doing the moonwalk, but she's still showing up. That might be enough for people to be able to say, wait a minute, I just saw her out of the corner of my eye doing the moonwalk. Why is she doing that? You know? And I truly believe that is the way that we can connect with people, because we don't have to do those things, but because we want to do those things. And again, I just put it up there on screen, and I'll do it again. It's about recognizing choice. And I truly believe, ladies, choice is the ultimate path to freedom. And if we allow that choice to be there with anybody on this planet, whether it be, Anke has heard me say this before, and I'll say it again to you, Sharon, too, as well, and to everyone watching, I truly believe the way we can have that choice with people is we not only lead with our humanity every day and every way, we ask others to do the same, but we do it from a place of intentionality. We do it from a place of flow. We do it from a place of alignment, and we do it from a place of agreement. And just let that be.
And all of that starts
with
here.
us. Yep. Inside.
Yeah.
You cannot lay a boundary. I mean, you can. I don't suggest it. It's not smart karmically, but you should not, I suggest, lay a boundary in front of somebody else's feet if you have not done the work internally. Because if you do, you are causing yourself the lessons that will follow. That's nothing nobody can do about that. But if you go internal and you look at your boundaries and you go, wait a minute, where are these right now? Not in a great place. Okay, let's move this one just a little bit this way. And this one just a little bit this way. And that's it. And then we breathe. You do not have to go balls to the walls and say, all of y'all will treat me this way or else. You can, but you will be the one that is wrong, no matter what the situation is.
Right.
But if you say, I'm going to treat me this way, it's magical what happens, because the people that are in your life because they want to be, they level up within themselves. So that
and the people that are meant, that their purpose has run its course in your life, they'll just naturally flow. And
it's not a big hurrah. It's not a big fanfare. It's nobody needs to fight with nobody, people. It's really not needed anymore. It's not. And when you're spreading that, you are part of the problem, not the solution. And I apologize if this is harsh, but get it together. We don't have any more time to lose.
No, and I agree. I always say that I don't want to be somebody that perpetuates the problem. We have enough people doing that and enough of that going on. I want to be part of the solution. And to Chris, to your point of accepting people's, uniqueness, right? And appreciating people's uniqueness, as well as our similarities in the, in humanness. I honestly, and this may not be popular, but I honestly don't care. I honestly believe this is part of the problem in the world, is that we don't appreciate people's uniqueness. And we're all here to give our specific gift in the way that we're supposed to give it to the world. And there's too much criticism and competition and just crap for oh, well, you're different because you have different hair color, a different skin color, a different eye color. Who cares? Who cares?
Or you talk funny,
Right.
or you don't look the way that I'm used to, or it doesn't matter anymore.
No,
Yep.
it should have never mattered.
No.
Because when we do that, when we fall into that trap, then we're missing the gift that person is supposed to give the world. And I have news for you. Not only you're part of the world, so that person's gift is supposed to come to you too, but you're preventing it from coming to you.
Yep.
Strictly because you want to judge that person on something that you either don't agree with. And a lot of times I think people judge people because they don't understand. But take the time to understand. Understanding and agreement are two different things. We can agree to disagree. Understand. I really if nobody hears anything else I say today, I really want you to hear that. Understanding and agreeing are two different things. And actually, when we disagree, if we can do it, productively, a lot can come out of that disagreement, because that disagreement can actually move you and the world forward when the disagreement is handled respectfully, and all of it. It's when disagreement is handled. Too many people in this world are busy trying to be right fighters. Everybody wants to be right, or a lot of people want to be right. And it's not about being right, because where is that getting us? Not sorry, but just very passionate.
Don't be sorry.
No,
Never ever.
sorry.
You're just out here saying that our individuality is what makes us powerful. And then you apologize for your individuality. May I be the first to say, stop.
Yeah, no, that was a slip of the tongue. I'm working on that. So
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
So,
It's a whoopsie. When I do that, I'm like, whoopsies. Never mind. Wait. I'm
exactly.
putting it back.
You know that-
I just keep talking. When I'm with myself, I keep talking until I fix it, because that helps my brain. Like,
You know the Reese's commercial, sorry, not sorry? You'll hear me say that. I'll be like, sorry, not sorry, But yeah.
And I love what Diane has shared with us already in the last couple of comments. And like I said, Diane, I can't wait for you to get on a call with both of these amazing ladies too as well. Same thing with you, Margaret, and same thing with you, Cyrus, too, as well. But this is what she just said just a little bit ago. She says that let's keep pushing forward together, making the most of our combined efforts, combined skills, and combined gifts. And then she said, judgment often stems from fear of the unknown, fear of the differences, fear of our own insecurities for being exposed. Well, see, I will say this, and I know we're about ready to close the call here in just a minute. I truly believe if you can let go of the fear and you can say, I'm willing to let it go, then not only you can let go of that fear, but you can let go of the things that will hold you back. Because I truly believe if we can be in the part of letting go, hey, I will let go in this insecurity. I will let go of the way that I show up to people. Because again, I recognize I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea. But then again, the greatest gift too as well, ladies and everyone, is when we allow that gift to be done to the other side. That is going to be the greatest thing in and of itself, because we're giving that from a place of invitation, but knowing and recognizing that the very act of giving is in the very act of receiving. It's already there. So,
Yep.
Anke, I know it's about that time that we got to close up the call, but I'd like to get some final thoughts, both from you and from Sharon. So, Sharon, I will start you. What's your final thoughts in today's great and engaging conversation with Anke?
I mean, there was so much here. We talked about so much, but I think the bottom line is, we are all works in progress.
Mm-hmm.
We all have gifts to give, and courage is the antidote to fear.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're afraid of something that you don't know about or you don't understand, have the courage to ask the question or research it before you get into a position of judgment.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Well
Beautiful. Thank
said.
you,
I love
Sharon.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Sharon, I can't wait to have a call with both you and our great and amazing team here at Bringing Man together. So we'll definitely have to make that happen. But Anke,
Absolutely. Thank you for having me today. It's been a
yeah,
Oh,
blast.
you were a wonderful addition. I'm so happy you popped on, honestly, because
Thank
this
you.
is why these rooms, like these specific calls, are actually very dear to my heart. Because here we get to say, hey, and I can't see anything because usually I'm in the comments. So, like, I'm on LinkedIn on my phone, but it's like, hi, like your voice. So, I don't know how many people are in the room. I don't know nothing, but I
Mhm.
need you to know. You, human being who is watching this, you matter. You, human being who is watching this, no matter how little you think you're worth, I promise you that unless your number is awesome, you are wrong. And I promise you that because we are all here together. And I have been to the darkest darks of dark within my own self. See, and I'm not going to claim that my path was harder than yours because it probably wasn't, but that has nothing to do with it because we choose the path that we want
mhm.
inside and out. You matter. And if you are scrolling late tonight and you find yourself in whatever emotional whatever, and you need to laugh, I'm going to regret this, but go check out Sassy Hype at Sassy Hype 369. Super simple on TikTok. And just kind of just go to my thing and just go, and then pick one. And the chances are large. It's funny. If it's not, just scroll once or twice. I promise you that's about as long as it takes before I am laughing at myself. So, it's okay to laugh. It's
Yep.
okay to show one another our
Mhm.
little bit, less professional side. Because there's a time to be super professional, but there's also a time to be just human at recess. So if you'd like to know a little bit more about human recess, relax, chill, come laugh with me on TikTok. And then come find each other wherever you are. Be the goof. If you're the goof, be the goof. If you're not, don't worry about trying to be, because I promise you, if it's inside you, it will come out, whether you try to hide it for generations or not.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. So again, thank you so much, Anka and Sharon
Thank
and
you for having me.
Margaret and
It was
Cyrus
beautiful, Chris. Yes.
and Diane and to all the other people watching. We're just so humbled and honored by this and everything. And again, like I said, you two ladies, I can't wait to get on a call with both of you very soon. But I truly believe these calls matter. And I truly believe we would love to hear your story too as well. So if you guys want to come share your story on Conversation for Humanity, please, there is the link. We would love for you to do that. And there's
Even
more
if
to
you
come.
don't think you have a story,
We
even if
all
you
have a
think you
story.
have nothing to share, you come up here, I promise you, within 10 minutes, one of us will get you talking.
We all have a story.
Yep.
So if you don't think you have a story, it's because somebody put that script in your head, and it's time for you to rewrite that script because somebody needs to hear your story.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, the people are just chiming in. Thank you for sharing your thoughtful interventions. And they said too as well, thank you, Anka, for showing up with your authentic self. We greatly appreciate that. And again, we're just looking forward to the next opportunity to connect and collaborate with each and every single one of you. In fact, on that note,
Before you on that note, because I know you well enough to know you're about to push the button, let me simply just quickly say, Chris, can you look at me real quick?
yeah, absolutely.
Are you looking right me in my eyes?
Absolutely.
Thank you for being a safe space for my authentic self to show up even when she didn't look pretty. Because you are that. And I, as a feminine who has not seen that much in my life, deeply thanks you.
I also want to echo that before you hit the button, Chris, and I'm not going to keep you long, but I do want us to acknowledge you for putting this community together and giving us all a safe place to talk about the hard topics and be who we are.
Yep.
So you said earlier today, it has more to do with us than you, but I was not going to end this call without saying that's not true, because you are the engineer who put this community together and is allowing this to happen.
I imagine him with, those Japanese fans. I want to buy him one so bad, because what I imagine is Chris, like, and I'm going to show my life here just for a second. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to think like this, right? And Chris is going.
Yep.
because that's who you are, in a very sometimes silly, sometimes serious, very sometimes out of left field, with wisdom that I do not know where it comes from, because you have no warning, and then just all of a sudden, but you do that, you fan the flame, and there is few things as precious right now in this world as somebody who's capable of being a cheerleader for others. So Thank you, because you've taught me in part how to do that by being you. So it's all coming full circle, Chris. Yep. Whatever is coming fast. So I'm with you, brother, and with all of you here. Sharon, thank you. We're here. We are here. If you believe you're alone, you are wrong. We are here. Come find us.
We are here. Come find us. You are not alone.
Absolutely. And we are better together. And like I said, I will send out a message to both of you guys, and we'll connect and collaborate very soon. But again, I really am so thankful to be here. And like I said, like you said, Sharon, being maybe the engineer to all this. And I just know my place in space in all this. I'm the visionary guy, the coalition builder guy, but there's going to be some people who can really build this out, not because of what they can do already, but because what they see not only in me, but what we can do together. And that's really amazing and everything like that. So absolutely. And again, all of you guys are just truly amazing, but I got to go to my traditional job and everything, because I got something to do with the Lakeland Tigers today. So I got to go do that. So again, Anke, Sharon, Margaret, Cyrus, Diane, and to everyone watching and chiming in, we greatly appreciate you. Just want to let you guys know, we'll be having another call on Friday with my great friend, Joanna Banana, about Authenticity Part 2. So please check that out. And if you want to join us, I will send you guys the invitation to that call, and I'll put it in the comment section too as well when I get back. So you guys have a great and awesome day on Wonderful Wednesday, and we'll see each other on the next Conversation for Humanity. Have a good one, everyone.
Take care, everybody.